So as I'm picking my hives, I'm just, some of these yards I didn't get a chance to get around to filling in the dead spots. So I have to consolidate the pallets. This yard was particularly bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pallets of empty. So out of this yard we had about 10. So that's 20%, 25% summer loss in this yard. So that's a lot. Sure adds up. But I'd make it pretty tough fall call because I don't want, poor hives going into winter. There's no use investing any type of money into these colonies in the fall, or waste their time bringing them in to the winter shed to take up space. And then just the act of moving them is just, why are we moving these hives that are not viable? So I do a lot. I have all these little cues I use to be able to screen out all the poor doing hives. And my objective is, if I put 100 hives in, I want 100 hives out. And as the years go by, I seem to get closer to that because I'm able to identify these poor hives in the fall that obviously aren't going to make it through the winter. So it's important that I take this fall call. And if I would have had my act together this fall, I would have had these empty spots filled in with nukes that I produced through the summer. I have a yard sitting there waiting to be put into these dead spots, but that yard will just be put into the winter shed now. And by doing that, I am actively taking out those poor colonies, the colonies that will likely not make winter, show a little more risk, and I'm replacing them with these brilliant young hives. So it's just that act of continual refresh, continual replacement, and just rejuvenizing the apiary. It's just one of the strategies I use. So I'm not as hard bent to shake out these colonies in the fall or through the summer that are just not showing me any promise. So I just want to show you one of the hive bottoms here. As I was moving these colonies and consolidating them, I'm just looking at the bottom board and just to see what it looks like underneath. You can sometimes tell a lot of what's going on within that colony just by looking at what drops from it. These guys have been treated with Apivar in the spring, and I didn't treat them with anything in the fall, except for a late fall here. We gave them an oxalic acid vapor treatment of 2 to 3 grams per single box, and that was about 2 weeks ago or something like that. I'll have to check. But the hives were completely broodless, and the reason why I do that is I'll show you why I do it. So here's a colony that I moved over there. You can see the size of the cluster. There's a fairly sizable cluster, but they're all nicely tucked up to the frame, so I didn't lose any bees when I moved them. That's one of the disadvantages of these bottom boards like this, is to consolidate, I have to actually actively, it's almost like opening up the hive, because this is the bottom board. At any rate, take a close look here. This bottom board is just littered with mites. I started counting them, but I got up over 100, so I quit counting because I'm wasting my time. But Here's that oxalic acid residue here. You can see the oxalic acid residue here too. So that oxalic acid, I'm claiming this mite drop to the oxalic acid vapor treatment. So what I'm trying to achieve with my oxalic acid vapor treatment is just to hit them with another hammer. I treat my hives early spring with Apivar, and then I monitor to see if I'll need to treat in the fall again. And if I can get away with it, if my counts are low enough, I can get away with it. I won't treat in the fall, and I'll wait until late October when these hives are practically completely broodless, and I'll hit them with an oxalic acid vapor treatment. And as you can see on that bottom board, if there's any mites within the colony, it knocks them right down. So I think it's adding a little bit of efficacy to my treatment plan. I'm able to hit the mites with a secondary treatment completely different from the first. I'm able to, maybe this is helping extend the efficacy of the Apivar, as we're hearing everybody saying that it's becoming less effective now. You hit them multiple times, multiple times with different things, and that's supposedly is going to extend the effectiveness of all the treatments you have available. So it's just another strategy, and it seems to be working for me. One thing about these bloody winters, I curse this snow, but it provides northern beekeepers here with a little bit of reprieve from that continual mite regeneration. About 5 months, I'd say. Our hives go into winter where they're broodless now, and they practically stay broodless right till we set them out. There's a little bit of brooding going on through the winter, but these hives pretty much shut down for half the year, and that provides us with an opportunity to target these mites because they're fully exposed. They can't hide within the cappings, so we can take the opportunity of winter. Is very, very seldom you'll ever hear me say taking the opportunity of winter. But here's our situation, and we can take advantage of this situation by having these hives go broodless, having all these mites exposed where they can't hide, and just hammer them, kill those little bastards. And then the treatment next spring, if there's any mist, maybe that'll get them. The treatment in the spring is going to help relieve the hives of maybe some of the mite inflow from other yards around, and get through summer, get through fall without any mites or very low mite counts, produce that very substantial healthy winter nest, and then come fall again, as these hives go broodless, just mop up anything that's in those hives. So it's an interesting little strategy. I've been doing it for a number of years now, and it seems to be working. So the old saying is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I'll just keep riding this wave until it doesn't work. But for now, I'm killing all those little bastards, and my hives are showing benefit from it. This is the yard that we treated with Apivar this fall. The only yard that we had treated with Apivar. And it worked. Our last count showed virtually no mites. So the treatment was very effective. Just we kind of forgot about this yard and just realized, yet these strips are still in here. So we picked a nice warm day. What is it, -7 right now, Carrie? These bees are, not tight cluster, but clustered up. And we're trying to pull these strips out. But it doesn't seem like you're having too much trouble. I'm not too crazy on leaving these strips on through the winter. Just in the very act of due diligence and responsible use of treatments. So they're pulling out quite easy. You haven't got stung, eh?
Over there I got stung in the face. So.
Okay, so Carrie did get stung.
That's why the veil's on.
these bees otherwise. Well, we use a bit of smoke on them. As long as we don't murder the queen pulling these out. So I was extremely happy with how effective this treatment was. We're counting, what was it, 5% mite counts? So then we dropped in these strips. We'll come back in a few weeks and we couldn't find any mites. And these clusters look good, so that should help them get through winter. This is a job that really should be done when the bees are loosely clustered. Makes it much more pleasant for everybody. But you know, that's just the way this fall's been. So Carrie's taking the strips out ahead of me, and I am loading these hives up onto the truck. We're going straight into the shed.